Hello everybody, welcome. We are here in Ankara and we are in HLC Hairline Clinic in Ankara, and today it's a great honor to me to be here with Dr. Ozgor Ostan, and he is the Fue Europe president since 2019.
2019.
You replaced Dr. Bizana?
Yeah.
He was the former president. Okay. First question before I start, I want to say that every time when I visit a clinic and I ask the doctor about other doctors, and I ask one doctor, what do you think about Dr. Ozgor and HLC and his team in Ankara? And I ask them, do you think he's one of the best, is he the best in Turkey? And he told me, well, you're crazy, he's one of the best in the world. So that's what other doctors thinking about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the first question I want to ask you is, tell me about your history. Why you decided to do a hair transplant? When did you start it?
So it was 2003. So actually it was not a decision at the medical school. Like every doctor, I'm looking for in which kind of medical partner can be happy. I was in the clinic 2003 HLC. And I noticed that they are working on design of needle, and I really noticed that this type of surgery is never done before, and that's why I'm excited, because this is also all the history of Fue, because Fue started also 2001, 2002, and I feel that I'm lucky, I can do something, I can change something. And I start first with patient. Of course, some patient I perform just 200, 300 grafts. Then I get good results. I'm working. I like it.
When you started at Fue?
Yeah.
You never started something?
I'm never done sleep surgery.
Okay. Who was your mentor? Like, who was the doctor that taught you all this field about?
So it was an organization.
Okay.
They built the organization maybe just 5 months before I joined them. It was 3 doctors, plastic surgeons. They are working. They read some studies about Fue from Dr. Woods. They get some design from the needle. They have just idea. Actually, we work on the idea. First, after that, we try to perform some surgeries, small surgeries. Then we get a good result. We see the hair grow. Then we are working on them. Solutions, surgeries, techniques, studies.
But why hair?
Why hair? Hair, I don't know why hair, because I told you it was a type of surgery, plastic surgery, aesthetic surgery. Why hair? Why I'm continuing hair transplantation? I get the results, and I noticed hair is very important for people. It's very important.
Yes.
If you understand people, if you understand how valuable the hair for the people, you can get the feedback, and after feedback, you feel really very comfortable. It is not just money. Doctors, this is not a job. You cannot do medical things just for a job. You have to feel close and comfortable.
You change people's life.
Yeah. You can touch the life. And, I like it. I feel always comfortable. I like my job.
Okay. Tell me about the next conference of Fue Europe in September. What's new? What you going to talk about?
This is Istanbul. After Corona time, difficult time, it will be, I think, in the world first face-to-face conference again. So, what is new is a lot of speakers, very brand name, very valuable names will join us. Istanbul, Turkey.
So doctor from Europe, they're doing strip surgery, or from the United States, they're not coming to Fue in Europe because they do strip?
No, of course they can join us, but our experience is about Fue. It doesn't mean that they cannot join us, but we are talking, of course, a lot about FE. But last years we noticed some surgeons doing treatment and FE together.
Combine. I know usually.
Yeah. They have some goals, more draft number and better results in megastration, the reasons.
Yeah.
That's why this combining surgery is also important, because we are part of this type of surgeries. Of course, everyone can join us. If they want to talk about street, of course we can talk. The problem is we don't have experiences about street. And our members is also like us. We are discussing a lot of FE, but not just the surgery. We are talking about SMP, we are talking about medication, we are talking about stem cells. This time, what is new is stem cells and regenerative medicine.
But they're talking about stem cells, like I think for the last 20 years, no?
Yeah. But last year with regenerative medicine got a lot of developments. It's Dr. John Cole from years.
Yeah.
He's working on this, and he did a lot of things for FE in 2001, 2002. His brand name is also.
I mean, Dr. Rose was the founder of FUE, and Dr. Cole took this technique of FUE and put it all around the world?
No, not. Of course, Dr. Cole is a very crucial name, but there's a lot of doctors there. They gave a lot of effort on FUE. A lot of brand names like Dr. Shapiro, Hairline Design. It is. I cannot remember all the names, but Dr. Rasman, a lot of names. A lot of people give too much support on FE. It's not just one man is doing something, but all these names is of course very important for FE.
When you started FUE, the difference when strip was, doctors thought that strip is better because in FUE you can only, in the mid-2000, you can only do 2,000 grafts, 2,500. And since 2010, people started doing 3,000, 4,000 in one session. What changed in those years? People started making big session of FUE, bigger session.
So, actually, bigger session is mega session. Mega session means is more than 3,000, sometimes 3,500. Also is a discussion. So it is different than patient to patient. Some patient has a high density, big areas like 250, 260 square centimeters sometimes.
Oh.
But some people has 180, 160 square centimeters and less density. It is mathematical. If you have 160 square centimeter, and if you decide that you can get 10 grafts per square centimeter, then you can get just 1,600 grafts. But if you have a 240 square centimeter, and if you decide you can get 20, then you will have 4,000, 4,800 grafts. It is mathematical. You have to make a good measurement with loops. You have to decide the best density per square centimeter. After that, the calculation, you find 4,000, then it means you can do 4,000. I think what we have is important. I don't like to give the operation types, mega sessions, small sessions, one sessions. It is depending on how many grafts you need. What is your goal? What is your expectation? What is your situation? How many grafts you have for the future and for the first operation? We always, in the consultation, we give all the information to our patient. All the information.
Yeah,
and we then will leave the decision part to our patient. But after we are sure that he understands exactly the situation.
I have been with you in the consultation. It's amazing. It's the best consultation I ever saw. You give all the details and you let the patient to decide. You tell them he's too young, he's too old. I mean, there's never too old, but it's too young. About his donor area, how much he's gonna stay after the surgery, left for the future, how many grafts. So,
yeah. It's an important decision. I cannot take the best decision for you. You have to understand exactly all the details. Then you can do the best decision. Not, we cannot do it for you.
Okay. Okay, tell me about your technique stick in place. People want to know about HLC technique stick in place.
So, of course, it's not all technique.
It's not?
worldwide. No, of course not.
You're
Skin
the only
place is a technique.
clinic I know that
No, who performed the best skin place technique in the world is Dr. Hayta in Zurich, Switzerland.
I heard you work by himself.
He's my close friend. Yes, he's doing all the part of the surgery itself. He make all the extraction, calculation, preparing the lunch, and also all the implantation. He concentrate 100% on the patient. He's doing all the details for his passion. Skin place is a technique in Fue. But we choose that. We like it. We like it very well using skin plates. So, what is skin plates?
What is the benefit of one stick in place?
It is my presentation. I have a presentation, but come and join us in September. I will tell you. This is a
talk about
skin plates. Yes, because I'm doing that. It is a lot of disadvantage and also advantage. Disadvantages for doctors. So we have to sit all the time in the surgery room, and you cannot leave the surgery to our nurses, for example. All the details you have to do yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
we cut one-to-one.
Yeah.
One-to-one is 2,000 grafts per day, means 2,000 extraction, 2,000 times taking out, 2,000 holes and implantation.
yeah, it's like you don't do 2,000 incisions. You do like one incision, implant, one incision, implant.
Yes.
And the thing I like about your clinic, it's the only clinic I saw at least, that not only the doctor is doing the surgical part, like punches and incisions, he's doing the whole procedure.
Yeah.
The doctor is doing everything. I mean, not making the tea and the cough or maybe cleaning the graft or checking the graft, but he's he implant the graft, he's doing the extractions also after the punch, and he always in the room and supervise about the team.
Yeah.
So that's the most favorite thing I saw in the clinic. It's all the doctor.
Yeah, the people is trusting us.
Yeah.
Think the different type of surgeries, general surgery, rhinoplasty, plastic surgery. Think that when you visit your doctor, you are sure that your doctor will do your surgery. But just in hair transplantation, people think that they can delegate the surgery to anyone.
Yeah, but
I never see it in the other part of the medicine.
yeah, I mean, some clinics we are in Turkey, so most of the clinics are technician clinics. But some good clinics, like the doctor is not doing the punches or we're only doing the incisions. Some doctors doing the incisions and the punches. But your doctor is doing the whole procedures, and those doctors are doing only surgical things. When the technician work and implant the graft, they're not even in the room.
Yeah.
They're not in the room. It's like they trust their technician. So here, the doctor is doing everything, and he's in the room all the time.
Yeah. But if you're a patient,
Yeah.
you have to check all the steps. You have to talk with your doctor how you can leave the surgery to anybody. I come for you. I'm here just because of you. Do my surgery and stay in the operation room and don't leave here. If you think that the nurses will perform my surgery, then leave it. Then I will talk with the nurses and I will pay to them.
Yeah,
Why I pay to you? Why we are spending time with you? If you will not do my surgery, then leave nurses with me alone. Then let me talk with them. Then I can decide they can do my surgery or not. I don't understand it. I'm not a manager here. I'm a doctor. You come here for me, and I must perform your surgeries.
Yeah, because some doctor told me, the implant of the graft is like putting the cherry on the cake. So what do you think? Is that true? That is, he said the incision is important, but put implant in the graft is like putting the cherry on the cake. What do you think?
All steps is very important. So if you get poor results, then you have to know which part of the surgery was not correct.
Yeah.
All steps is very important. All steps. That's why you have to do much as possible all the steps by yourself.
Okay, next question. Why manual punch? Why not motorized?
So It is my decision and my style. Of course, this needs more effort, but you can feel with your hand the skin, the graft, everything better. Nothing can be better than manual cutting.
Scarring?
Scarring, burning, controlling, everything. But of course, really difficult for doctor.
Yeah, I know.
So motorized is much more easy. You can cut 4,000 grafts in 2 hours, but with manual it takes 5-6 hours.
Okay.
Why we are doing that? Because we think it is beneficial for patient. There is some advantages for healing process, and you cannot destroy with manual punch other graft, skin. For best harvesting, you have to feel the skin, you have to feel the hair. When you touch the wrong place, when you touch the hair, you can feel it in your hand. That's why we think, and my experience is with manual. If you give me the motorized punch, I cannot do this best work like the other colleagues because they are doing 10 years with manual punch, motorized punch, and I'm doing with manual punch. I cannot change it now, and I believe this technique is more beneficial for patient. Everything in our clinic is, all the decision is just for patient. That's why they are choosing us, I think, because what we want is also what happened here. I know what you feel, I know what is your goal, and we try to do that. That's all.
Okay. How do you, when a patient comes in and is suffering from a diffuse plasma alopecia, so what do you stick in place for diffuse alopecia?
So, diffuse alopecia is another case that we can perform easily transplantation. If you are sure it is diffuse alopecia, it means we cannot perform surgery. We have to recommend medication. First, we have to try medication. With medication, we have to stop, we have to improve hair growth. This is the solution.
But sometimes, for example, patients come to you and they have a thinning in the crown. They don't have TPA. They don't have TPA, but they have thinning like the mid scalp, thinning in the crown. Like they're losing their hair here in the temples, and like the crown is thin. It's not completely bald. So the sticking place can help doing the work between the hairs.
You mean, yeah, of course. If the patient has a hair, recently hair, we can see with loops. Loops magnification is very important. And if you are using loops magnification, you can see the area much easier and much better. Then you can cut very comfortable and carefully the skin, and you will not destroy the grafts.
And shock loss?
Shock loss is not because of cutting, mostly it's because of adrenaline. This norepinephrine will stop for a while the blood circulation. It is the reason of shock loss. And we know that skin place needs less norepinephrine because bleeding is not a complication, not a problem with skin place. You can always stop the bleeding with implanting the graft.
Oh, you mean when you do the incision and you implant the graft, you stop the bleeding?
Yeah, that's why we are not using norepinephrine.
Wow.
If you will do 2,000 incision before, you have to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Just pushing,
some patients bleed a lot.
You have to stop it.
Yeah. So this a lot of bleeding can cause shock loss? Or
no. When you stop the blood circulation, then for a while the blood supply will not come to hair, to the graft. And it's for a while means sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 6 hours. When you stop the 6 hours, then shock loss will 100%.
Sometimes I can see even in the best clinic in the world that the result is good, but some parts became sparse, like thinner in the mid scalp.
Yeah.
And you see a beautiful result, and here it's become thin a little bit. So maybe this is the cause.
Yeah. All the steps I told you, all the steps is very important. Using loops, less norepinephrine, less densities, or the right decision for the densities, good harvesting, solutions, Everything is very important because sometimes the mistake can be happening the extraction, sometimes medication, sometimes long surgery time. These all things is very important for the result.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about your team, the doctors. We got Dr. Chengiz,
Yeah.
we got Dr. Omot, Dr. Alif, and
Yeah.
which other doctors we have?
So they are working for us part-time. Now full-time surgeons are just Dr. Alif, Dr. Umut and Dr. Cengiz. And I'm doing also surgeries. We are now 3 operation room and 3 patients per day. So why we have other doctors? They are working time to time on the surgeries. We teach them. When we will be sure after some couple of years they can do all surgery. Our plan in the future is open 4th operation room, and then we can do maybe 4 operations per day. But now what we can do is just 3. It doesn't mean what we have per day. If we want now, thanks God, maybe 10 patients per day, but we cannot do best work for everybody. That's why we decide to do just 3, because we know that we can concentrate just only 3 surgery room, but we are now 6 doctors.
Okay. I mean, when a guy comes to a clinic, he wants the best doctor, and he wants his doctor will do a good job. And, I mean, do the doctors have like your hand? Do they understand you artistically?
Yeah.
Do they like think like you in surgery? Do they?
So, artistic part is the hairline design.
Hairline, temples.
Temples. Yeah. But it is a consultation part. That's why we are doing all the consultation part all together. Everybody share their opinion, and the decision part will be all the team and patient. If we take the decision, then the rest is surgery. What is important in the surgery? Directions, angles, the type of the hair. We know that. All my colleagues know 100% what is important, what has to be. And we make all detailed plan. For example, when we are working in sideburns, we know that we have to take thin hair, weak hair, like a neck hair or chest hair. We planned before. How many hair? 300 grafts, 300 from chest.
You take chest from the temple?
Not on the temple, sideburns.
Sideburns.
The temples, and it is the part of the hairline.
Temple points.
The sideburn, temple points. Sides needs here very thin hair. Has to be similar like your hair.
Yeah, but usually doctors tell me they take singles
Yes.
like behind the ear.
Correct.
So why you take from sometimes like
There's
this?
2 options. It can be behind the ear, neck hair, or chest. We decided before we start. If we think that the chest hair is, because sometimes the scalp reserve will not enough for covering all the area. That's why we need extra graft than scalp grafts, which is chest hair. Or if our goal is to cover the area on the top, on the crown, we need more volume, then the option for the extra graft will be beard, and the chin area, beard hair. We know which hair is good on the which part.
But don't you think the chest hair is like less a chance of growing, like scalp?
So, as a theory, 70% hair growth has a chest hair. So, it is also some tricks. We shave the chest hair and we let them grow 2-3 days.
Okay.
Then we can notice which ones grow, and it means also they are anagen hair. And then you can work better, easily, and you can take anagen hairs. It's increase the hair growth percentage. So why 70%? I think the people are working without this, and they cannot understand which is telogen, which is anagen. They took some graft and put on the skin. That's why they have less hair growth percentage.
That leads me to the next question I just now invented. When you use your magnification, so sometimes, I mean, a hair could be an intelligent reason, sometimes it's just a thing. thin hair. For anagen, thin hair, it's good for the hairline. How can you tell if it's telogen or anagen? I mean, I'm talking like...
It is part of the anatomy, histology. We know what means telogen, what means thin hair.
Oh, it doesn't look the same, telogen and thin hair?
Telogen is something else, different situation. Anagen is different. Anagen, but thin hair is part of the anagen hair.
Yes.
It's very easy to understand telogen hair after the extraction, telogen hair and anagen hair. I will show you some pictures.
Okay,
you can understand
because I have a camera microscope in my my home, and when I video my scalp, so I see thin hairs and I see.
You mean from outside? I'm explaining you after the extraction.
No, but still I have telogen and anagen hair in my scalp.
Your telogen hair, if you pull out, the telogen hair come out very easily. But the anagen hair will not count. This full test will show you how strong telogen hair you have. But without pulling, you cannot understand just with microscope this hair is thin or telogen. You cannot understand. But why you try to understand is thin hair or telogen hair. Thin hair means mineralization and something wrong. It means you have to treat something.
So maybe it's a hair growth cycle.
Yes, but the number of telogen hair is important, and you can understand it with pulling test.
No, I'm saying because for the hairline you need to have those slow-growing, thin and less pigmented hairs.
Yeah.
So if you put like a telogen hair, after it became anagen hair, so maybe thicker, you know?
Yeah, but after the extraction, you can be sure. After the extraction, it's very easy to understand which is telogen, which is anagen.
Okay.
It's different without surgery, without taking out. To understanding is difficult, but in the surgery room, when you take out the graft and make the extraction, it's very easy to understand. With two pictures, I can explain you how you can understand.
My next visit here.
Okay.
Okay. How do you fight with all this industry here in Turkey? You are maybe one of the best clinics in Turkey, and we know we have like 1,000 clinics here, maybe. How many? 500, 1,000 technician clinic. So I walk in the streets today in Ankara, where you took me to this record store, and I see I've been on the way on the sidewalk when I came back here. I saw so many people that messed up with hair transplant. So many, even in the store itself.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, how do you fight the fight? As if you're Europe president.
So actually, we don't fight with them. We try to educate people. We try to show our experiences. So we have to avoid people from this unethical technician clinics. So as a church, I'm also part of the Fight to Fight subcommittee. And we are working with our colleagues on this, and we share some videos, we share sometimes with social media, and we are also working on the Google. We have to show this to the people. Now, for example, we decide to fix one day for a repair day in the world. On this repair day, we decide to repair some cases free charge with our colleagues. It will be, I think, in September. One day, it's worldwide repair day. So we have to explain what can happen with the technician clinics during the surgery. So it's very important. Also at Fue Europe, we have also Turkish Hair Transplant Surgeon Society. This organization is crucial for us. With these organizations, we have to share this to the people. We have to educate doctors and patients. At this point, the patients is very important. So if you decide, just because of the price, to work with unethical technician.
But they don't know it's technician. They see doctor.
That's why we have to educate the patient. We have to explain what can happen. We have to explain what is the difference. But I don't understand how they decide to work with surgery with people, because just doctors have to perform surgeries. Everybody knows that. Why with hair transplantation, people getting different decisions? I never understand that. But what we can do is only to share this bad results, to share repair works, and to explain this.
About website research also, they see these fake pictures on Instagram or on website. You see, like I can tell the difference between a bad work and a good work, but people, they see like density. They sell density.
Yeah.
So what they supposed to look when they see pictures in the clinic before and after? What do they need to check?
So what you have to ask is some questions. Who will do my surgery? Who will perform my surgery? Is he or she the doctor or not? If doctor, the name, and how many processes they got before. Is it experienced? Is it plastic surgeon? Is it doctor? A dermatologist? Or what? Who? And he will do all my surgery or not. And he will meet the consultation part with me. He will do my incisions. He will do my extraction part. He will do my implantation part. And after the surgery, can I talk with him? He will inform me about the take care process after the surgery. You have to ask these questions. And then you have to ask the same questions for the other clinic. And you have to ask before your decision, for example, HLC. If you decide to do your surgery in the HLC, ask my name and my brand to the people, to the other clinics. I am talking with you and with HLC. What do you think about HLC? Is something wrong in the HLC? Because computers knows all the details. Ask about me some questions for the other clinics. They know better than you. They can do this. Be careful. They are delegate clinic and they delegate all the surgery to the nurses. Then you get the information. Then you will ask it again. I learned that sometimes you delegate surgeries. I will perform my surgeries by yourself or not. I have to know that. If yes, then you can do my surgery, maybe. You have to ask questions.
Sometimes they come to the surgery. I heard from people that told me they came to the surgery and they told them the doctor was going to do the procedure, but when they went inside the surgery room, there was no doctor. Just technicians.
This bad people is everywhere in the world. It's not just medical business. They are everywhere. You have to be careful. Try to learn some experiences about this clinic. It's a lot of forums, it is a lot of experience.
There's a lot of fake reviews also about, like if you go to Google about reading reviews about some technician clinic. So you say, oh, it's great, I have no pictures, but they say, yeah, like 5 star. Everybody say it was perfect. So it's fake news.
Never give up, my friend. We have to fight. We have to try to explain all the details to the people. It's my life, it's very important for me. I need to inform, I have to inform people with that. Don't give up. We can do that.
Okay, that's it. No more questions. I really enjoy being here in the surgery room. I've been with Dr. Cengiz and I really enjoy seeing the surgery. And I really enjoy visiting Ankara and I will come back here soon, I'm sure. And that's it. Thank you, Doctor.
It's good to hear. Thank you for your visit. It was a pleasure to guest you here.
Yeah, we had a good time.
I hope we'll meet again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Next time. Bye-bye.